Sundays have always been sacred to me. It gives me a chance to spend time with my family, with my friends, to focus on my faith. And honestly, We Rest on Sundays is a platform that I've created to help you navigate the complexities of the world. I want to spend time having open, honest dialogue with mentors, friends and family, and individuals that I truly believe are exceptional. We're going to focus on love, career, marriage, parenting, and everything in between. And the primary goal here is for us to become the better versions of ourselves every single day. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on Sunday. Good to go?
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
Thanks for being here, Chance.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, man, I'd love to just kick something off with something that I wrote with you, and then we'll jump into some questions, if that's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chance, I want to thank you for being an exceptional friend. You have been nothing short of an excellent friend and a real inspiration for me and many others. I've sat on this idea of We Rest on Sundays, this concept really for years. I've suppressed it. And because of you, I was able to step into really just growing, thriving, and pursuing this dream. You challenged me not only to move forward with my ideas, but also to think bigger, develop my skills, and to go all in and have trust and faith in God. For that, I want to thank you. You are an incredible man, father, husband, and friend. We need more friends like you who will challenge their friends to believe in themselves, chase their ideas, and bring really just your ideas to life. Thank you for challenging me to invest in myself and my ideas. Thank you for being a true friend, a fantastic husband, to your phenomenal wife, and an outstanding father. Chance, again, thank you, brother, and thank you for being here today.
That's dope, man. I'm honored, bro.
Yeah.
I'm honored. Yeah, no, for sure. It's a proud moment to just hear your idea, and now I can be a guest on your show.
Man.
So that's dope, man. That's what it's about,
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And again, I wrote that, but from the bottom of my heart, I think that, again, I was wrestling with this idea and I had all of these thoughts, and it wasn't until I sat down with you and I just was like, hey, I got a quote to build this out. I think I can do it, but it felt expensive. And you were instantly just like, nah, man, I think you can do it yourself. And then you were like, no, you can do this yourself.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I appreciate the thought process, man. But tell me a little bit more about just who is Chance Smith?
So it's a big question, but no, I mean, honestly, I'm a creative at heart. That's just who I am. Everything I do, whether it's brushing my teeth, getting ready for the day, meditating, working out, I'm never gonna do anything in just a normal way. I'm gonna find the silver lining about everything. I'm gonna find why people love me or why I love something about someone else. I think the cool part about my creativity is just it's embedded with discernment. So I'm always constantly just reading into oh, why am I happy? Or why does this font make me feel really good? Or why does this color, excite me? Or why does this color not excite me? I think it's just in my genetics. I'm just a creative at heart. I'm always gonna do something in a creative way. And I think that's helped me and defined me over the years, because when people hear my name, Chancer, the first thing they think of is the creative. Whether that be music, film, graphic design, whatever, set design, the way I do things, people's nah, he's always going to go the extra mile. And that just speaks to me, that over the years, it's defined me. It's just my goal is to have a signature look, or when you meet me, have a signature feeling the way that guy made me feel, it's a little different, so and I don't I'm not intentional about that. I just, it wouldn't feel right if I don't have a signature connection with someone. It's I don't want to just dap you up and just be somebody that you spoke to at an event. I want our conversation to be memorable. I don't have to overdo it, but maybe just the small things that we say is I kind of like that guy, he's cool. So, but just speaks to my creativity.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I appreciate you sharing that, man. You're also a fellow HBCU graduate, so you attended Tuskegee.
Tuskegee.
However, you met your wife at Spellhouse's homecoming. So tell us more about just that story, man, and how you met your wife and the importance of HBCUs.
Yeah, no, for sure. Honestly, if you've never been to a Spellhouse homecoming, you don't know what you're missing, right? So just over the years, going to HBCUs, we would hear the rumors about Spellhouse Homecoming. You got to check it out. So I used to go as a single man.
Yeah.
I used to be having a great time at the Spellhouse Homecomings, and I met some great women there. And one year, all my friends who used to go with me, they couldn't make it. And the only guy who could make it one year was my friend Archie, who's an alpha. And I don't usually hang around all the fraternity tents, but that year I was about alpha tent, and just one thing led to another, and my wife was standing there with her friends because they had some friends who was alphas, and we ended up meeting at Spellhouse Homecoming. But the importance of that is people forget how HBCU homecomings are probably the best networking event you could go to, because you're not going to find that many like-minded individuals in one place, and y'all share the same journey, the same experience. Yes, you're out there having a good time, but hopefully you have some meaningful conversations and meet some really good people. I attended Tuskegee University, and I do feel like our homecoming is one of the best, but traveling to other homecomings, it allows you to get a different feel, get a different vibe of the people. Sometimes the people at your university, sometimes they put the lid on a little tight. They can't see maybe your vision, your growth, because they know you. It's human nature. Sometimes we can't see the people that we know in a light that we met them in.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you go pitch that same idea to someone at Morehouse or Spelman or Howard or Hampton or FAMU, they take it a bit more serious, and they may do something about it. They may connect those dots, and that's the benefit of HBCU. You got to treat HBCU homecomings like a tour. Like, don't limit yourself. Yes, go to yours, but sometimes get out there and go to other people's homecoming, because some of my the friendships that I've garnered over the years is me getting out of my comfort zone and going to other homecomings. So
and meeting your wife.
And meeting my wife, exactly. So so I thank Spellhouse Homecoming for allowing me to meet my wife. But it's super important. The HBCU connection is unmatched. So I'm forever grateful to all the HBCUs, but especially Tuskegee University, because it made me the man I am today, and especially Spellhouse, because it allowed me to meet my beautiful wife and amazing wife and build a great family. So
it's good, man. I appreciate you sharing that, and I love the point that you brought up, just revolving around like really just experiencing more, right? Like, and I think the beauty of HBCUs is like you and I know each other through Archie, who
absolutely
went to Tuskegee, graduated with you, is an alpha, I'm an alpha from Morehouse, and then it's like I met you through that, and then met your wife, and like my network has grown tremendously through the power of just the HBCU, and like now the guys, women and men from Tuskegee, my wife and I just went to y'all's homecoming this year, the 100th, and it was excellent, and we were treated like family, you know. So for me, I think that's the beauty of HBCUs, and like and it rewards you the opportunity to really just like grow, expand your network, develop lifelong friends, and and be challenged to create, a new idea.
Exactly. Like, we don't get here without the HBCU connection, and that's the beautiful thing. Like, you could build something that's it's a lifelong thing. Like, it could change your trajectory forever, and it happened through something so simple as just getting out there, meeting other people from HBCUs, and that's what builds that connection, because when they put out that great PR story and say a Morehouse guy and a Tuskegee, Morehouse Tuskegee connection, and when other younger adults hear that who might be in high school and ready to start their journey, they can say, man, I want that for me. When I go to FAMU, maybe I'm meeting my business partner. You don't know. So you got to get out there. Just if you're an introvert, just open yourself up and just try to, become a social butterfly.
You got it. So what inspired you to pursue just a career in film and really just chasing creativity in general?
It's a great question, right? Because if you guys don't know out there, film school costs a lot of money, right? So most creatives in Black families, we have to be resourceful. And I always grew up loving movies. My dad's a creative musician, always had a camcorder in his hand.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so musician, always had a camcorder in his hand, always was playing the guitar downstairs. That's just like his outlet. Whenever he was upset, he would go down, play the guitar, do something creative. That was his outlet. So I naturally grew up. My sister played the piano, I played the drums, my dad played the guitar, you know, just going to church, you know, just helping out wherever I could. So music was always around, but music was my first introduction to, you know, just my outlet, creativity, right? But I guess you could say me being inspired to wanting to be like my dad and be a musician. It was already in me, but just seeing it, it was always around. Music led me, like being an artist, and I heard this one quote by this producer I love named Large Professor, and he basically was saying that as technology grows, it changes the landscape of music. So if you think about that, in my generation, technology was at an all-time high. So naturally, as I'm doing music, your social presence has to match, you know, your music. It sucks that somebody can't just make a great song and we love that person for their great song. We actually love that person for their identity around, you know, the music. So of course, me loving people like Pharrell and Jay-Z and all the greats, you know, the Kanye West, I'm like, I gotta build my social presence. And how am I gonna do that? I have to buy a camera.
Yeah.
It's like 2011, 2012 at the time, and cameras are not as, they were very expensive at the time. So I was saving up a lot of money to do things at college that everybody was like, had their heart set on doing. And I had the bright idea to say, I'm gonna take all this money I've been saving and I'm walking into Best Buy and bought a camera. And that decision to want to curate this identity to match my artistry. Yeah. It turned into, a lot of times when I would shoot music videos, people would watch my music videos and say, it feels like I'm watching a sitcom. It feels like I'm watching a movie. And I didn't know that, but I guess instead of making a music video edit, I was making like cinematic cuts. I was making like sitcom type of cuts. So I guess all the movies that I watched over the years, it started spilling out in my edits. Yeah. So after so many times where people saying, this kind of looks like a movie. Yeah. You kind of start saying, maybe I should like act, or maybe I should edit, or maybe I should film. And I just started seeing like people started requesting me for just, it would be like my second video, third video, and people like, we want him to film our sorority and fraternity videos. We want him to take our graduation photos. We want him. And I was like, but what do y'all like about it? Like, I'm just starting. And it was like, it's just something about it. So I guess I just always had like a signature way of doing something. So honestly, what inspired me to chase film was music. So a lot of times people beat themselves up when you start off as an artist because you want to make it as big as Drake and the Kendrick Lamars. You want to be like, I want to be on tour and I want people screaming my name and my lyrics. And I think I'm talented in that area, but sometimes you can't fight God. And if he wants to take you on a journey and say, I want to start you here. And I know you're in love with where we started, but we got to keep going. Yeah. You know, like maybe there's a bigger picture. And honestly, every time I touch the camera, like something unlocks in my life. And I could fight it. I could say, but I want y'all to love me as a musician. I want y'all to love me as an artist. But maybe I was meant to do something else. And it was me having to kill my ego, become selfless, and not be, you know, sometimes being an artist comes with a lot of selfish emotions that we're not aware of. They're unconscious. It's like everything's about me. And the cool part about film is a lot of it, you have to be selfless. You have to get that actor to be their best self, you guys have to have a connection and you have to make it more about them. Like the coaching has to be, I can't direct as well as I do if I'm not an actor first. I have to be in that person's shoes. And I started noticing that everything around film and directing and creative direction, it was selfless. And it was allowing me to be the catalyst and the conduit to get somebody else to their goal, or the bigger picture. And I just started noticing, like, this feels a lot, it's spiritual. It felt like, wow, like I couldn't do this with rap. I couldn't do this with music. I could maybe make somebody feel good, but I can't truly change, their life. Like I love the feeling when I could film something for someone and the way their brand reputation and their brand identity changes overnight. That's a beautiful thing. It's like getting a haircut. You know what I mean? You know, like when you get a haircut, you feel different about yourself coming out of that chair. And that's why barbers love it, because there is things that have an emotional, I guess you could say, like underbelly or just like foundation. It's like, it moves people. I love being able to see somebody smile, or like they can't wait to post because they know what this is gonna do, right? Like, I love that. If I can help people, change their brand identity or imprint or footprint or whatever, reputation, and I can do that through film, I love it. And, I get to do that for myself as well. But that's to try to answer that in a nutshell.
It's cool, man. Also help me with, you mentioned film school, right? And you didn't go to film school.
So I'm an outlier.
So how did you figure that piece out?
So that's a great question. That's a great question. How do you navigate the film space without going to film school? Okay, so number one, YouTube University. So the benefit of technology is the information is out there. I'll say that again. The information is actually out there. It's just that people don't challenge themselves to watch that 30-minute tutorial on YouTube that has 5 different commercials. And you just have to sit down and put yourself in school. A lot of times people are so distracted, or they're kind of lazy, and they don't want to just sit down and push themselves. So YouTube University helped me a lot. But outside of that, to navigate film, you have to, number one, be bold and brave. I would say, go to auditions, be on set, be a grip, be a production assistant, get on sets where you can see how Hollywood does it, even if you're the fly on the wall. Because the cool part, when I was a production assistant, when I graduated to Tuskegee, it was 2012, and the job market was shit. And I said, I have to figure this out because I don't want to just be at home with my folks. So I got on Facebook and I found every opportunity that would allow me on set. I was at Tyler Perry's studio, not the new one, the first one he had. And I was at Tyler Perry's studio working whatever job I could. If I got on and I was a stand-in that day, I would be talking to the grips. I would be talking to the production assistants. I would be talking to the ADs and like, yo, how can I help? How can I, what do I need to do? I became a sponge. To figure out how to navigate this space, because I knew certain people had certain credentials that I didn't have. But one thing that HBCU provides and music provided for me is it taught me how to be resourceful. It taught me how to, okay, I may not have this much production, like the production cost to put this on, but I know all I need is this camera operator, this editor, this director, one great actor, and I could figure this out. But to give game, or to put it all in a nutshell, the way I navigated this space without going to film school is being able to create a formula for myself that allowed me to say, what is it that I want from film? A lot of people want to be Denzel Washington. but maybe you don't like being on 18-hour sets. And I think people have to be a little bit more realistic with themselves to say, if you're going to start a journey, know what exit you're getting off on. Because if not, you're just kind of aimlessly like moving through life and you don't actually know where you're going. So one thing I did is I worked so many film jobs, I was able to say what makes sense for me. And I knew that I wanted to create a community and make independent films or make content that allowed me to work with brands, that allowed me to honestly meet other people that could put me on to other things in life. So truly it's about me knowing my destination before I started the journey. And that helped me navigate through. And I could go into more stories because I've done so much. But honestly, I feel like me knowing what exit I was going to get off on before I started the car helped me navigate these waters. So yeah, but the YouTube University taught me the technical pieces that I need to know, you know, like whether it be editing, whether it be just knowing the job titles that exist out here. A lot of people don't actually know what exists. They just have like, they just heard something that they want to do and then they're like, oh, I want to do that. But just like know what it is, know what it entails. But yeah, that's how I navigate it.
Man, that's Chance, it's super powerful to hear you share that, man, because I even think back to like when I was getting We Rest on Sundays up and going, and like the initial conversations that I had with you were monumental to me actually launching and like pushing forward, because I could see you processing in real time when you were asking me. You're like, well, like talk to me, like what do you envision, what do you want this to be? And like I had it all in a document, but I was like, let me just start talking to him. And I could see the more and more that how you know, the direction and what I explained to you, and like as I got closer to the ending and the end goal, you legitimately were like coming alive, and you were like, yeah, man, like
it's going to work. Because a lot of times this is what I hate. Okay, I live in Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta. Right? There's a lot of facades in Atlanta, mirages. People will paint this beautiful picture and they don't actually tell you like what are the pros and the cons of this idea. I'm realistic. If we're going to make something happen and it makes sense, let's talk about, you know, what is the simplest way we can achieve this goal? I hate the fluff. I know anybody who probably lives in Atlanta, there is a lot of fluff. And in my 20s, I dealt with so much fluff, it almost drove me insane. Right? So one thing, when someone's telling me an idea that they want to accomplish, let's make it 1 + 1 equals 2. Right? Because we just want to get to the end goal. And when you were sharing your ideas with me, one thing I definitely live by is never be at the mercy of someone else's resources, right? Because God didn't give me your vision. He gave it to you for a reason. And because it's your vision and you're sharing it with me, my goal is to treat it with delicacy, you know, like be delicate with your vision and to just help navigate it, but not change it. But I want to give you the tools that allows you to get to the end goal. So that was the biggest thing. It's just like, my goal is to hear you out, protect your priorities. Listen actually, what is a priority for you? And that was the biggest thing. I knew that if you had your priorities written down and we know, okay, 1 + 2 + can get you to We Rest on Sundays, great. That is my goal. Let's use the minimal possible resource to get to this goal. And then while we're flying this plane, we're gonna make we had a little turbulence in the middle. This is what we're gonna do to fix that. And going forward, you sometimes you gotta fix your vision while you're on the journey, right? So, but I hate to see someone in prison of their own thoughts because they think it's too big. No, let's stop that. That's what's killing half of everybody's dream. It's because they think it's too big. A lot of times the people that I network with, and they're kind of just braggadocious and, oh yeah, I work for this and I do this, and I'm like, okay, that's great, but you know, how does that help me on my journey?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound selfish, but I always say when I get to that person's role, I want to make sure I have like a map for someone to navigate these waters, because it's not as hard as you think. And once you execute this idea, do you know how many other ideas you're going to execute? Because it's like, you know the formula.
Yeah.
You know the formula of success, and it's really just having faith, apply it with action, and not worrying about the response. Leave that to the universe. Leave that to the people. Leave that to God. You put out the product and allow people to come. And when you put out good energy and the right energy, usually life brings that back to you. You know. And if not immediately, it's okay. That's where you start to mold into, you know, this person that you always saw. So that would be my response into
man. You hit so many nuggets in what you just shared, and because again, it just takes me back to where I was prior to launching, and again, like being a guy that's in corporate America. We're both guys that are in corporate America, but we also still have these passions, and I think and a commitment to not just our personal brand, but like living our individual authentic selves, right? And I think that like that's the beauty of it. But going back to like your creative side and how you've been able to really just grow and scale your brand. You have over 20,000 IG followers. You have some video clips and reels that have well over 1 million views. So for aspiring creatives, like what are 3 must-know tips that you think that they should focus on and or consider as they're trying to grow and scale their brand?
That's a good question. Great question. I would say, so 3 tips that I could say. Number 1 is be authentic. I think there is a trend. Trends are created every day on every app on social media. And sometimes it's okay to follow a trend, but do it your way. So it was my wife who got me into couples content. I was the let's protect our personal brand on Instagram. And sometimes it's okay to just kind of like let loose and be and have a little fun. I was of course, so a lot of people don't know, I'm a film producer for corporate America. So technically I have to protect that side of my identity. And then also I was an artist for years, and every artist knows like things are on brand for you and things are off brand for you. So doing couples content really wasn't on my criteria list of like protecting my brand. But I said, you know what? She begged me. She was like, we should do it. I think we would be good at it. She was already doing it. She was like, I'm gonna start without you. And one of her videos did like 20 million. And I was like, what? Like, I just did this big production set and I'm barely scratching like 6,000 views, and you just got 20 million views on something. And I was like, okay, well, if we do this, let's do a cinematic style of a reel. Let's polish it. Like, I want to add my signature touch to what we're doing.
That's cool.
And it caught. It worked. I hate to say it, but she was right. That's why sometimes fellas, listen to your wives, man. Like, but it just also was God saying, I remember being 14, and this is when I wanted to be an NBA player. But that didn't work out. But I remember dribbling the ball. I never told the story, it's crazy. I remember dribbling the ball up and down the street, and I had a thought, because LeBron James was in the 8th grade going through his legs in a hoop, and I had a thought. I was like, if I don't make the NBA, I was like, I asked myself, if God gave me the option to be an NBA player or to have a family, which one would I choose? This is when I love basketball. And in my head, I remember at 14 saying, I would choose my family. I would choose to have a family. And I think it was early on that just went to show you, like, even at 14, my priorities was in order. At a young age, I just knew what I wanted. And I think God is rewarding me. And I'm not super religious, but I am spiritual. I think God in the universe is rewarding me for prioritizing family. And my traction didn't grow until I made it about my family.
Yeah, wow.
And I think it just speaks to sometimes you could have this big plan and have what's on brand for you.
Yep.
And the whole time what was on brand for me was just, highlighting my family, highlighting me in a different light. And I think it was relatable because everybody doesn't like the same type of music or food or fashion, but one thing people love to do is laugh, and they can relate to just the family dynamic, whether I'm, being funny with my friends or my wife or my kid. And it just clicked, it worked. Brands are reaching out daily, and it's just a testament to having your priorities in order. Like, don't always be so selfish to always think it's going to go the way you planned it. God blessed me with the talent of editing and film, and me being able to highlight my family in a comedic way, adding some production value. I think every time we post, it does well. And I think he's saying it's because you're honoring a commitment that you promised that you would do, and now that you're doing that, I'm gonna bless you. So
that's amazing, man. And you talked about your family and your marriage. So you have a baby boy, beautiful baby boy.
Yep. Baby Chance.
Baby Chance that you guys are raising right now. So how has being a father really influenced, really just like your creative legacy?
Yeah, no, I love that question. So honestly, I didn't know how to feel about being a father, because I still feel like I'm a kid at heart. And that's probably the creativity in me, is always like finding, that nostalgic feeling in everything. But being a dad, so I have the type of personality where if I want something, I'm going to go get it. It's not too much that's going to tick me off, get me off my pivot. You can't break me. Like, my faith is like vibranium, like concrete. Like, there's nothing. Michael Jordan could tell me I'm a failure, and I look at him and just be like, bullshit. Like, I'm a win. That's just the type of person I am. So when I look at my son, you know how some people say they look at their son and they get that extra bit of motivation. When I look at my son, it's not. I don't feel inspired. It gives me a duty. It just adds a bulletproof vest over my faith in regards to, like, there's no way y'all can stop me now. Like, my son, regardless of what he does in life, he will never, as long as I'm breathing, he'll never be able to say he didn't have the map, the guide to get to whatever he wants to do. So the beautiful thing about this creative legacy is he will have all the tools to do whatever he wants to do. And I'm not talking about financial tools. Financial tools, money can come and go. You can have it. You can set your child up, and still sometimes kids will do stupid things with money. Hey, I had this saved for this, and he might want to do this with it. What I mean when I say tools is mentality. So understand that when I say, I'm not speaking about money. Yes, you can have all the funds in the world, and you can set your kid up. But one thing my mom always did for me is say, never get too high with the highs, never get too low with the lows. And money should never dictate your decisions. So when I say tools, I mean the creative legacy is all like embedded in his mentality. Like he will be so strong in whatever he does because I'm going to start there. So the creative legacy is he may want to be an architect.
Yeah.
He may want to go into computer science or, be an engineer. Creativity does not stop just because something is trendy or aesthetically cool. When you go and you look at a building, someone had to use creativity to my goal is to teach him that creativity does not stop at what's cool. Lupe Fiasco had an album called The Cool.
Yeah.
And I don't think people actually realize what he was saying. It's like the definition of cool can change. I want my kid to understand that creativity is your signature touch on whatever you do. The way you love your wife, the way you love your kids, the decision on what school you went to, the way you built something. Like my goal is to teach my son that creativity is what you make it.
Yeah.
And I know everybody wants to have like the Denzel Washington legacy or the Spike Lee legacy, and that's great. But understand that add your touch to everything and everyone you come across in life. And sometimes your name will be your biggest legacy.
Yeah.
How you made someone feel. Maybe you didn't build the multi-million-dollar platform, but if you introduce that person that helped someone get there, it means the same. So when we just talk about creative legacy, I know he will be great, but I want him, when he gets to the top of the hill, to have a certain mental toughness that allows him to understand life from a perspective without money.
Yeah.
Money will come. I trust that if you trust God and your head is in the right place, the money will come.
Yeah.
But are you a good person?
Yeah.
What's your character like? Do you treat people well on set? Do you treat people well when you're doing good and doing bad? So the creative legacy is just about that. Like, I want people to understand that creativity doesn't just stop around creative things.
Yeah.
Add creativity into everything that you do, and that would be mine.
That's good, man. It's really, really good. Just a few more quick questions for you as well, bro. So, similar to me, you have a corporate career.
Yeah.
You got a baby boy at home.
Yep.
You have a wife with a demanding career as well. That's
yeah.
also passionate about pursuing her own brand.
Absolutely.
And your family brand on top of that.
Yeah.
So how do you still really just maintain that balance and ensure that you have a strong partnership while you continue to pursue your dreams, your partnership with your wife?
With my wife,
Yep.
Right. So how do I maintain a strong partnership while my life is so demanding?
Yeah.
What I would say is everything is connected, right? Like, you ever hurt a part of your body and you realize how much your knee allows everything else to work? Well, I know that everything that I do, whether it's in the corporate space, with like corporate media, with my wife's brand, her personal brand, my personal brand, keeping our family dynamic strong and being a good husband, I would say when I make a decision in one area, I treat it like a body, like your anatomy, like everything matters, right? It doesn't seem like it, like for those who don't floss. Know that if you don't floss, it brings more bacteria that could interrupt the entire body. So all I'm trying to say is I don't make one decision without considering how does this affect my family dynamic. So the way I always make sure my priorities are in order is even if I'm making a decision in my creative space, I make sure I say, okay, is this going to take too much time away from family time? So I try to only make decisions or speak to my wife before making a decision to say, I'm about to work on a project that's going to take me away for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Can you handle this?
Yep.
where's your mental right now? Is this something that you think you can handle while daddy goes and knocks out this work? And just ensuring that home is good. Yeah. Because if home's not good, so what that you are doing something amazing. Like I'm big on just making sure balance. I have balance literally tatted on my elbow because it's a constant reminder that never get too caught up. But just to go into detail, I love from a creative way. So if I am gone for a month doing something, I remember I was writing, I'm a writer as well, so I was writing an album for someone, and it took me away for a little while, like a long time. The way I come home and I show my wife that I missed her, I do it in a creative way. My house is fun because I never say something in a generic way. So if I'm gonna express that I miss you, I might turn on some Anita Baker, start dancing, and just make her laugh and just have fun. Same with my son, same in a corporate space. Like, I come as my authentic self, but I do it in such a way where it's memorable. Like, I do minimal things, but in a memorable way. So the way I make sure that everything is balanced and I protect home first is by just making sure that I understand that every decision is connected to my family structure. And that's how I do it. It is a juggle. It can be. The cool part about having a partner is if they believe in your vision, they will protect your priorities. When I sat down with my wife and we had a brand meeting, and when she explains how she sees herself in the future, it's up to me to protect that vision like it's mine, because that's the commitment we made. So it's not about, well, things are unbalanced right now. It's about things are unbalanced right now, but they have an expiration date. So I'm gonna help my wife get to a certain point to where she feels better about herself, she feels better about her brand, and her confidence will spill over in this relationship. Her self-esteem is gonna take us to places. I should be meeting a new version of my wife every year. If you're not having enough healthy conversations, if you're not meeting a new version of your mate, and that's what I'm big on. 2014 male shouldn't be 2024. Same with me. 2014 Chancer, it's no way you met me in 2014 and you meet me in 2024 and you shouldn't feel something different about him. He's the same guy, but there's some energy that's flowing through him that's spilling over, and I love it. And that's truly, it's us being intentional about, if we're gonna do something, let's do it. Let's make sure it makes sense for our family structure, and we make it happen. That's just, if you make the commitment, that's what you got to do. So,
man. I again, like, so many valid points that you brought up, right? Especially in marriage. I think for me, where you and I are aligned, and I think it's really, really sound advice, is I don't go forward with anything regarding my career or time away from home until India and I are on the same page. Like,
same page.
And when we are on the same page, boy, can I go so much faster at my goals, at whatever it is I'm working towards or striving to build. Boy, do I feel much better, and I'm not as anxious or like stressed or worried about X, Y, or Z. So even when it comes to, like, I stepped into an international role in my corporate job, and you better believe that before I even thought to put my name in the hat for that opportunity, I had to have the conversation with India and get her blessing at the end of the day, where I'm like, hey, where are you, right? Where are you mentally? Where are you spiritually? Where are you physically? Is this something that we think our family can handle? And I think that, I don't know, I just wanted to double down on that point, because I think couples and marriages that are able to do that, you move as a unit.
Absolutely.
And that just makes your marriage grow, thrive, and blossom. And then the second part that you brought up where I was like, okay, I'm not crazy and this makes me feel excellent, is legitimately the piece where you're just like, I shouldn't be meeting the same male in 2025, 26, 27, right? Like,
Bingo.
And if I'm being fully transparent with you, there are aspects of being in college where I was an insecure boy, and sometimes I cringe where I'm like, ooh, I hope that people don't think that I'm still that kid anymore, right? Like the 18-year-old insecure, I have everything to prove, versus like the 36-year-old man that's super comfortable in my skin and I don't have anything to prove, and I really just want to live in my purpose and help people solve the complexities and the challenges of the world, you know, and get better and grow and develop.
Exactly.
So that's just hearing you bring that up, man, is really just beauty and music to my ears, and I appreciate it, Chance. My final question for you. So tell me, like, where is Chance in 5-10 years, and
Great question.
And what does your brand look like?
Great question. You can probably see me thinking Chance in because I have huge dreams, huge dreams. I've always had huge dreams. So Chance in the next Chancer Smith in the next 5 years, I truly see myself truly taking on the title of like a lifestyle curator. And my true goal in the next 5 years is to have a personal brand that allows people to trust me, whether that be if I'm doing brand sponsorship. If a brand is working with me, I want them to trust that what I do with your messaging and your vision for this product, the way I attach it to my community, it's not going to be detrimental to them. And it's going to make sense and everybody wins on both sides. So when I want to curate a lifestyle that is healthy, that's righteous, that's cool, I want to be a representation for Black culture where people can trust that anything that I touch, if I touch it, you guys know that we can trust this brand. Whether it be my personal brand or anybody that I collaborate with. But yeah, that's it. It's whatever that looks like, whether it's in the film space, corporate space, media, content. When we see Chance, we're going to be entertained, but we can trust him.
That's great, man. And like, again, I want to just thank you, man, from the bottom of my heart, not just for your time today, but your time in general, right? Like you have encouraged me. I know that you've encouraged a lot of people. We've had conversations off camera where you're like, man, I've tried to tell my friends, like, just do it. And some people listen and some people don't. And I think that, you know, hopefully you feel like your time with me hasn't been wasted, because you put together this PowerPoint presentation of like, buy this camera, buy this lens, buy these lights, and I'm reading, I'm like, okay, this man went out of his way to put together a presentation. I have no excuse, like legitimately no excuse, because I didn't have to go out and Google stuff and click more videos. And it's like, the play was right there.
Absolutely.
And I will forever be in debt and grateful for you going out of your way for me. And I know that you do it for many, many others. So I have no doubt that in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, that your brand, anybody that has the pleasure of knowing Chancellor Smith and whatever brand or product or business that you're creating or touching, that they will have full trust in who you are and your hands being a part of their project. So thank you for being, you know, the authentic man that you are, the husband that you are, the father that you are, because it continues to encourage me and many, many others to really just pursue our goals and to be better at what we are chasing as well, man. So I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being just uniquely who you are.
Thank you, man. I'm honored to be just a guest on We Rest on Sundays, and I see you, like, it's just, if I could add something before we go, it's when someone shares their dream with me, and I understand dreams are like like fine china. Like if you shared your dream with me, you opened up your mouth and you verbally shared that dream with me, I'm going to treat your dream like it's fragile. So the time and care that I spend around it, it's because you're trusting me with your vision, and I want to treat it with that level of, you know, just care.
Yeah.
So everything that you're doing now, I'm proud of you. I'm honored. I know you're gonna do great things. Any way I can help, I will.
Yeah.
But just thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Bro.
Take care.
Yeah.